Hey guys, Canelo Alvarez is set to fight Jake Paul in a boxing match. Um, Sounds insane what I just said, but apparently it might actually be happening. And what's more insane is not that it's happening. What's more insane is my actual prediction for this fight. You're gonna have to listen to the very end to hear my prediction because I'm gonna start off by saying why I think what's gonna happen is going to happen. So, Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez, obviously a massive difference in skill set. Or is there? Like, as it sounds, I know it sounds crazy, right? But, and I do agree, I think Canelo obviously is a much, 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 much better fighter, right? But the thing is, people are just thinking that Jake Paul is just some guy off the street who can't box who's like a Disney star. That's not really what's happening. Jake Paul is, I would say, a seasoned boxer now. I understand his competition have not really been, amazing, right? But again, he's been, how many training camps has he had? He's had a good, I want to say 13, 12 training camps. That's not something that's easy. Over how many years? How long has he been doing this? Again, I'm not saying compare him to Canelo now at all. I don't think he'll ever reach that level. But in my opinion as well, you need to look at it objectively. This guy actually has some solid experience. And he's not just he's not just some guy with zero power who just learned a bit of boxing. This guy has power. He has so much power actually. You hate him, love him or hate him. You cannot take that away from him. So do I think that he stands a chance? I mean, look, okay, Canelo Alvarez in general, is a phenomenal boxer, right? He's absolutely insane. Look what he's done to everyone he's fought. He's not, I wouldn't say he's in his prime right now, but I would say he's nearing the end of his prime. But still, he's really good still, right? But you look at Jake Paul as well, and I think two things, right? So I think that Jake has a bit of size on Canelo, to be honest. Why is that gonna matter? I'll tell you in a second. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I think that Jake is not easy to knock out. I think that he's got some good foundations, and I think he's got some power, which is going to make Canelo quite hesitant to hit him. Why I think that is because I feel like Canelo is smarter than to just rush in out of ego and try to knock him out straight away. I think he's going to realize that Jake has a lot of power and Jake has a lot of what's it called? Jake has a lot of momentum around him, and Jake also, this means everything to Jake. Jake loses absolutely nothing if he just goes all out, but Canelo loses everything if he ever gets touched by Jake Paul. His legacy is gonna get really tarnished. Because you can't say the same thing about Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson was a really old man when he fought him. Canelo is still somewhat in his prime, right? So this is a different fight completely. So I think Canelo is going to be more hesitant to get in because he's going to be he's going to know that Jake possesses that X factor, the power. So that's one thing, and I think that's going to make Canelo slower than usual, and I think that's also going to make Canelo more hesitant to throw some shots that might open Jake up. Do I think that Jake poses any danger to Canelo? Honestly, maybe. It depends. Again, it depends obviously on a couple of things, but mainly I think it depends on the fact that if Canelo is willing to just treat this as a normal fight, he will absolutely demolish Jake. I think if Canelo just thinks of it oh, I cannot lose this fight, I think that's when Jake has a lot to win. I don't think there's a possibility of Jake knocking out Canelo, to be honest. I don't think there's a possibility of Jake winning a fight against Canelo, but I do think what the possible thing that might actually happen is I do think that Canelo can get knocked down by Jake Paul. I do think that's a very real possibility of it happening. I think that Jake Paul might actually hurt Canelo at one point, but I do think Canelo is way too seasoned. He's fought too much to let Jake Paul knock him out. I think Canelo is gonna knock him out if Jake takes too many risks, and I think Jake will take a lot of risks, but I also do think that Canelo is not going to want to counter off of that just in case it's a trap or anything. Overall though, I think that how the fight's going to go if it does go down is I think that Canelo round 1, 2, because I don't think this is going to be a fight where it lasts only 20 seconds like people are expecting it to. I think this actually takes a couple of rounds. I think maybe 7, 8 rounds. I think that Canelo starts off quite slow. I think people get hyped up that Jake Paul's winning a couple of rounds, and I think Jake actually hurts him somehow in the middle. I think that Jake gets a good shot or two in, people react. I think maybe even gets around. Like, I know that sounds crazy to say, but I do think Jake Paul might win around. I think purely off of everything I've just mentioned, I think Jake might actually win around. And I think that Canelo puts him out, stops him round 7, 8, something like that, you know? And maybe not even stops him. What I was gonna say that's actually crazy at the beginning is I see this going the full distance. That sounds crazy, but I do see it going the full distance because, again, of the reasons I mentioned, I think that Jake got a lot of size, and Jake's actually got good experience now. He's not like a stupid fighter. And three is Canelo's going to be very hesitant because he has everything to lose, so he's not going to want to lose this fight. So he's going to be extra careful. Like, he's to him, it's going to be like, let's just win this safely. I don't need to knock him out. Um, or maybe it's the other way around. Canelo just goes like, I need to knock him out, and he like goes all out, and like he gets, you know, caught a couple of times. So I see this honestly going the full distance, or at least in the later rounds, Canelo finishing off Jake. And that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know how you feel about Canelo fighting Jake Paul. Is that something that's like horrible for boxing? Is it something that's unexpected? Would you want to see these again, like celebrity matchups with actual professional boxers?